Welcome to another episode of the Date Night Podcast. I'm Ben.
And I'm Tori.
And this is our podcast where we talk about a little bit of everything. And if you've listened to the first two episodes, one of the things that I've semi-tried to talk about before is the song WAP. And it's more than just the song.
So let me reference and say that this episode is not kid approved.
To be fair, to cover myself, I have all the episodes marked as explicit, but I think this one's gonna probably deserve it the most so far.
All right, so this WAP song. I'm a fan.
For those unfamiliar,
it is the number one Billboard song right now.
Right, which should tell you something. Like it's
like it.
It's the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100, right? It's all over TikTok, but then like. I didn't see, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see too much outrage, I guess, in the circles that I'm in, so to speak.
But I have a ton of moms on my page. And
you're a mom.
Yeah, I'm a mom. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay. I have a ton of people on my...
If you're unfamiliar with the song, look it up on Spotify, listen to it a couple times.
Without your kids around.
Look it up on Spotify, listen to it a couple times, and then come back and listen to this episode.
Well, because I won't lie, people were complaining about it, and I was like, what is this song? And I looked it up on Spotify, and the kids were sitting right there, and I was like, the very first thing in the song.
In this house.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. But, okay, let's talk about it. So my whole feed was irate over this song, right?
That's not fair to say your whole feed. I'm sure you have thousands of
I have 3,000 friends on Facebook, and I would say maybe 4 or 5 of them that I saw were okay with this song. The rest of the people were complaining about it. And the big complaint was that, it's not appropriate for kids. Well, not everything is appropriate for kids, and that's why there are different ratings on different things. So, I don't understand, people aren't complaining about these rated R movies, but they're complaining about this song, and I'm a big fan of equality.
Well, people did complain, so it's, okay, here, I'll get, a nerdy comparison, is, the Deadpool movie when it came out.
Yeah.
Because, it's Deadpool, Marvel, it's a superhero movie. My kids love the Avengers. I'm going to take them to see this. And then you're 3 minutes into that movie and you regret bringing anyone under 12.
So here's my thing. If you are a quality parent, you should be screening things that your kids are listening or watching. So if I were going to take my kids to a movie, per se, I would make sure that the movie was going to be appropriate. I would look it up, make sure it was going to be okay. Same with songs. They don't listen to songs that I haven't heard. I just feel like as parents, it's our job to screen things for them the same way we do on things like YouTube or watching TV. And music is no different. But
I feel like with the parent thing, you can, if your problem is that, if you have teenagers, it's more problem. I don't know. But if you have little kids, you should have enough of an element of control, even though I don't like that word.
Yeah.
To stop that from being a problem. But at the same time, I think that, I don't want to say a lazy parent, but if your problem with the song is that the parenting, having to screen it or not wanting them to hear it, it's there's a million things you do every single day. Just because you're a parent. What blew me away more was the people that had a moral problem with this song.
A lot of people were like, I don't want my kids looking up to that. And here's the thing, and stuff like that. Well, let's start there, because that's going to be my other thing. And not everyone is a role model. Just because they're famous or have a lot of money, whatever, doesn't make them a role model necessarily. She's a rapper. I mean, you don't want your kids looking up to people like porn stars either, but those are their professions. It's not like she's, a president.
They're not motivational speakers or politicians.
Right. She's a rapper. If you expected anything less, I mean, you're crazy. So moving on to my big issue is that I'm 100% for equality. Men get to rap about this stuff all day long and nobody bats an eye anymore because, you know, they've been doing it for so long. But if you've actually listened to rap music, you know that the women have been doing it too. This song just, WAP puts it in a funny way.
Was it like, I don't know if it's right place, right time.
Yeah.
But I can't get over it. I don't know. I almost went back to it. I just can't I don't understand hearing this and being, they shouldn't say this. Unless you ever, I guess it's easier for me if you have a problem with all of rap music. With the sexualized nature of all, that feels more honest or legit of an argument than just having a problem with this song because of I mean, it's, don't get me wrong, it's pretty vulgar. It's pretty extreme. But every time I listen to it, I laugh, which I'm sure was not necessarily the intention.
Oh, I cannot get through that song without laughing.
But at the same time, it's I appreciate it for the humor. You can't deny that if you took if you just had the instrumental, even though it says whores in the music, the actual music of itself, the beat's kind of good.
Yeah.
It's it checks a lot of boxes for songs that people like. Again, evidenced by the fact that it's #1 song on the Billboard Hot 100.
Right. So enough people like it. I think people are just too scared to, what's the right word? Men are fine with this usually, but women are too scared of being sexual creatures. And that song is very off-putting to them because they're uncomfortable with it.
It's very directly sexual.
Oh, very. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are sometimes when I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, God. But it's funny. And
there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I mean, it's just a woman basically gassing herself up in a sexual manner. Right.
It's exactly. It's the same if you listen to a lot of rap music, I mean, they talk about very similar subject matter consistently, right?
Yeah.
And it's it is all very much in this hype yourself up, bragging type way, right? I have all this money, I have all these things, I do all this stuff, and then I'm the best at sex, I get anyone I want. When it's a man that does it, that's been fine since 2003.
Right, but now a female came out and everyone was
two females.
Oh my, right, yes, two. And everyone I mean, we went back to being nuns now.
Right, Quakers. We're we're pilgrims and we're Puritans.
I mean, women are also sexual beings just like men. It doesn't make it wrong for them to talk about it. Now, maybe it's not your thing, and that's 100% okay. But it doesn't make a woman any less because she talks about her sexual nature. I mean, we talk about our emotional relationships too, and that's fine. I feel like it's very, very similar when you become an adult.
You know what's funny? It's conventionally, and granted, a lot of this is changing, has changed. But it's funny because you were talking about when we talk as women, we talk about emotions and not the sexualized things. And it's well, for men,
you can talk about sex, but
we
you can't talk about
the sexualized
emotions.
things. But if you talk about the emotion, then we're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's
so
really funny how these stereotypes have been placed on specific genders.
Right, it's low key sexism or misogyny or whatever.
I mean, it's not even low key. It really is.
I mean, it's pretty direct, but but it's almost it's subconscious almost. You're not intending to be sexist. It just the way you react when a woman says those things versus how you react when a man says it,
intentionally or not. I mean, it's a good song. You guys should go listen to it.
I'm
without
sure
your kids around. I'm sure by now you've heard of it.
You've heard it
at least, because like I said, it's the Billboard Hot 100 #1 song.
Right.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's funny. Don't take it too seriously, and don't let it offend you.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, male or female, there's nothing wrong with sexuality. And then going back to this being the date night podcast and us it's funny because I posted about this on Instagram today and in my story, and I said come listen to my wife and I pretend to be relationship experts. but here we are pretending.
You're right. I mean, we don't have real expertise, but we have 12 years under our belt and
experts.
Lot of crap we've gone through.
We're not experts, but we have a good amount of experience, like with mixed results, but overall positive.
Yeah.
I would say.
So speaking of like being sexual creatures, we recently did something really exciting. I've done it for him before as a gift, and so I did boudoir photos for him as a gift.
Yeah.
It started a few years ago.
We thought this would be appropriate to talk about because like we let in with the WAP thing, and that's because legitimately when we talk, that is a big topic. Is like, again, we talked about on this podcast, we're going to talk about how society and people react to things and like give our hot take, so to speak. And we thought like the whole message of what we're trying to communicate on this episode is that like sexuality is okay, sexuality is a good thing, and then for like married couples, it's probably pretty good to remain at least sexually interested or active or adventurous or whatever you want to call it, right? But like, it's just like having a date night is about connecting and talking and spending time together, there's a necessary sexual component too.
Right. So a few years ago, I did boudoir photos for him as a gift, and it was actually a really awesome experience as a female because it feels extremely empowering, and you can do this any way you want. You can do it like fully clothed, you can do it very tasteful, you can do it completely naked, like it's completely up to you, but it is empowering. So, probably at this point, almost a year ago, I saw that, like, this photographer was doing couple boudoir photos, and I was like, wait a second, I wonder if Ben would do it with me. So I asked him, and he was like, oh my god, yes, let's do that.
I'll do most things that don't involve, like, heights or wildlife. I don't know, like, those are the two big, like, hard passes for me, but other than that, I'll do a lot, you know?
Yeah, so we booked them, and then I had all my health issues, so we kept pushing them back, and we finally got to do them in January. And it was...
Was it that long ago already?
It was a month ago.
Legitimately?
It was a month ago yesterday.
Feels like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which I guess still technically could have been January.
Yeah.
Almost.
But it was so much fun. Like, as soon as we left there, we were like, okay, we're doing this again, 100%. And then he has only seen 3 of the photos. I saw them all. I'm waiting to get them all back and show him, but...
I thought it was going to be weird.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be really weird to, like, pose in sexual ways with someone watching and, like, taking pictures.
I was nervous.
Right.
Until it was funny because I thought it was going to be like, I thought I was going to be anxious or nervous or whatever the whole time.
Okay, well, let me preface this with he never got naked, so he always had boxers on the whole time. I went as low as underwear. Right.
But like it wasn't. So it's funny because it's not just how like what level of clothing do you have on, because like just underwear. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not necessarily proud of it, but like. The dog tether's been really close to the front door before, and I've had just underwear on, and then I've like taken 2 steps outside to grab it. So like, it's not just it was the sexual nature again. Correct. Going back to the thought of the episode. It was like the sexual nature of what I was doing was also part of what made me nervous, or like made me think it was going to be scary or weird. And like most of the nervous part or all the negative that I can say about it was all like before we got there.
I agree. Like once we got there, it was so chill. And it just felt natural almost. I mean, she definitely told us what to do, but it felt really, really natural. And the photos like show that. It was just a really good experience, I think, for couples after being married for 10 years to do something fun and different. Yeah, it was definitely different. We've had pictures done a lot. That's like, that feels so like routine now. Yeah. Like I know exactly what to expect. Yep. I know, like it's funny because we have pictures done probably more than most people. Yeah. And it's just
it's a totally different. It is not just having pictures done.
Well, yeah, no. And the whole way leading up, you were like, "What about this? What's going to happen with this?" And I'm like, "I don't know because I've never
done
this
else.
either." Yeah. But it was super cool, and I think it was a great way for us because when you do boudoir photos, you get to add your interests and like sexual interests and stuff like that. They really like focus on body parts that you like of each other and stuff.
Well, just like, so again, going back to all my experience with like couples photos and stuff, it's the same way that they're always like, well, what do you guys like to do together? You can bring like a game controller. Like we had pictures done at a coffee shop because we both really like coffee, right? So, like, you put these little personal spins on your family pictures and couples pictures, and, like, yeah, you really do kind of the same thing.
Right.
It's just like, well, what are you into sexually? And then, like, we'll do pictures more like that, which I guess I never even thought about. I thought this was going to be way more like, almost like a photo shoot, what I imagine for, like, a magazine would be, where they already know pretty much what they want you to do.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? But it wasn't.
No, they're very personalized, and I think that's kind of the coolest part about them, that they are personalized. So like I said before, like you can be completely dressed the whole time. She said that she's done ones where like they're in like jeans and like white tops or like sports bra or something, and very like Calvin Klein style. And then you can go completely nude. So like it really captures your personality sexually, and I think that's really awesome, and it's very empowering.
I did not feel empowered.
No?
That's not a word I would use to describe it. It was cool. Like, maybe my experience was too, like, almost literal. It was what a sexy time. And, like, that carried on through the day. Like, when we left there, like, we still had just done all, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that energy
was the whole
still
mood.
There. Yeah, exactly. But, like, yeah, as from the male perspective, and honestly, I wish I could be more helpful. I wish this podcast was able to be more helpful in a sense of, like, how do I get my husband to XYZ? Because, like, and this is anecdotal, right? Just talking to other couples and, like, hearing the experience, but it's like I just say yes a lot more.
It's true. I see a lot of my friends' husbands like complain or like tell them no constantly, and I'm like, I don't know, I could literally just ask my husband to do absolutely anything and he'd be like, all right.
Unless it's heights or wildlife. Yeah.
So funny though, because we did the boudoir photos this year. Well, we were gonna do them last year, so we'll even say like 2020 was fine, but I would say probably like 5 years ago, we would have never done something like that before. No. Well, for a lot of reasons. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. We used to be really heavy. Like, I mean, me specifically. Yeah,
right?
But I think even if we were like skinny and in shape, like it really wouldn't have been a thing for us. We started dating young. We didn't really explore our sexual side until after kids, and they were a little bit older.
And we also didn't communicate well.
No.
That was probably the single biggest roadblock, I would say, into like really, I don't know getting to the bottom of what the other person's into and stuff like that.
Or even just like up until a few years ago when we finally like broke through and started talking about like our physical relationship, it was more like sex was a task. And it was scheduled around the kids. That's basically what it was.
Right. And like
it was just something you had to do.
If it happened.
Yeah. I mean, we had 3.
We probably more, I would say we have sex more now. And I'll confidently say this. We have sex more now in 1 month than we used to have in 6.
Yeah.
I'll say that with confidence.
Probably.
Which it's not pride, it's confidence.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's pride. Actually, no, I'm proud because now it's, I don't necessarily want to say, I don't know.
Okay.
Now it's better.
Yeah, because now we talk more about it. I think, oh my God, you're like a child.
Yeah.
So I think communicating was really optimal there. Like that just made everything better.
It happened quick. Once we started saying, like, this is the kind of like, or even like, I think that I would like this, or like, let's try that, like.
And then, like, once we said one thing, it was just like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? And then it just kind of took off from there. And it's so crazy how fast that did happen.
Yeah. I would say, if you are unhappy sexually in your relationship,
start talking.
Bring it up.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, we just sat there for so long, just like.
It's almost like waiting for the other person to say something first.
I really think it was like we just. I don't know. I don't think we really knew because, like I said, we started. I mean, dating when I was 14, so like I definitely wasn't exploring sexually then. And so, like, I think it was just, like, so much time had passed. I thought, like, that was just normal. This is what it was. No, guys.
Normal's way different now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
And there is no normal. If you're into weird stuff, be into weird stuff.
Yeah, you just have to communicate that.
Yeah. Listen to the song WAP, and there's all kinds of weird shit in it. It's not even weird. It's just aggressive. And, again, I like it so much. I wanted to bring it up again.
Funny. I wanted to bring it up again. It is so funny, you guys. Like, the best. But I think that most people undervalue, like, their physical relationship. They think it's all about, like, emotions and, like, being there for each other and all that stuff when, like, really, I feel like...
That's part of it. That's part of being there for each other, right?
Right. Helping. Well, yeah, but, like, physically, you have to be...
there for each other.
Yeah. Yes, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, yes. But no, I think everything needs to be even. So if you're building a pie chart, you know... your emotional, physical, like all of that needs to be pretty even so that you can have a balanced relationship. And I think a lot of like, especially young adults don't really want to talk about it that much, like sexual stuff. But yeah.
All right.
Do you have anything else to add?
I don't know that I have anything to add. I mean, we could talk more about the song if you wanted to.
Oh my God.
No, I mean,
you guys, it's so funny. Like, there's a line in there where she says, I want you to reach that dangly thing that hangs in the back of my throat. And, like, every single time I hear it, I literally die laughing. That's just the funniest thing. That line gets me every single time.
Yeah. It's a great song. Definitely listen to it. We wanted to talk about it, number one, just because it seems relevant. It's the hot number one song in the country, right?
And so many people are talking about it.
And and number two, we do, and I'm sure that like all of these topics will come up in different ways in future episodes, but we definitely wanted to at least take some time because like I'm sure there are a lot of podcasts out there, especially ones by couples or for couples or whatever that talk about all the touchy-feely aspects of, like, relationship stuff.
But nobody is willing to talk about sex.
Or, I mean, even if they are, we wanted to do it, too, because it's important, right?
It is very important.
We'll add our voice to that conversation. So, yeah. Have sex with your partner. Have sex with your partner. Tell them what you're into. Listen to the song WAP, subscribe to the Date Night Podcast.
And go do some sexy photos for yourself or for your husband.
Oh, yeah. Do the photos. Subscribe to us on Instagram at the Date Night Podcast. Visit us, www.thedatenightpod.com. And then however you're listening to this, review or leave us a rating, review, follow, subscribe, download, all that good stuff. It all helps a ton, and we really appreciate it. But that's going to do it. For today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Bye, guys.